Hello, students of Spoken English class. In today's video, which concerns everything to do with time or related to time, you will get to learn certain expressions of time that are commonly used, and you will also learn how to ask or question when you would like to know the time from someone. Also, how to make a response or reply when someone asks you the time. Idioms, phrasal verbs, proverbial sayings using the word time have also been dealt with in this video. I hope you'll all find this video enjoyable and useful. Let's begin with certain time expressions. Look at this list. All the words that are here are used to denote time that has passed by. So, these words are used in the past tense. The first one is yesterday. Yesterday can also be referred to as the previous day. Last night, last week, last month, an hour ago, a little while ago, that means some time ago. A long time ago, that means many years ago or many days ago. The day before yesterday. Now let's proceed on to the time expressions used to denote the present tense. The first one is now, then we have nowadays, today, at this moment, this week, this month, this year, at this time, right now. To indicate the future tense, the following words are used. Tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, next day, next week, next month, next year, in the future, soon, later. It can be later in the day or later in the evening, later in the afternoon, later this week. And the last one is in an hour. There are certain words that are used to indicate a certain phase of time, certain period of time, such as fortnight. Now, fortnight means 2 weeks, 14 nights. So, it implies 2 weeks. Midweek. Midweek means middle of the week. Weekend. Weekend means Saturday and Sunday. So, Saturday and Sunday are considered to be weekend. For instance, in a sentence like, I'll be going out with my friends in the coming weekend, I mean to say that I'll be going out with my friends next week on Saturday and Sunday. Now, look at this chart showing the units of time. We all know that 1 second is made up of 1,000 milliseconds, and 1 minute has 60 seconds in it. 60 minutes make 1 hour, and in one day we have 24 hours. 7 days make a week, and in a month there can be 28 or 29 days, that is in February only. If it is a leap year, then we have 29 days in February, and of course a month can be made up of 30 or 31 days. A normal year has 365 days, and a leap year has an extra day, that makes 366 days. And in a year we have 12 months, and 10 years make a decade. A decade, actually. The pronunciation is a decade. 1 century comprises 100 years, and there are 1,000 years in a millennium. In 1 millennium, there are 1,000 years. So that's all we know about the units of time. Often students ask about the prepositions of time, what to use before a day or a date or before a certain specific time. So here's a chart for that. At, in, on are the prepositions of time, and when to use them? Just have a look. At 3 o'clock, at 10:30 a.m., at noon, at dinner time, at bedtime, at sunrise, at sunset, at the moment. Now all these signify a specific time. At 3 o'clock. That means just at 3 o'clock, on the dot. 3 o'clock. So before a specific time, before a particular time that you wish to mention, you use the word at. So I'll meet you at dinner time, or we'll be meeting at dinner time. So when would we meet? You're specifying that particular time when you would be meeting. At the moment, I'm recording for a video. So I'm specifying the time, or I'm specifying exactly what I'm doing at this very moment. We can use the preposition in before mentioning a certain date, a certain month, or a certain season of the year, like in May, in summer, in 1990, in the next century, in the Ice Age, in the past, in the future. But we use on before mentioning the day of a week, like on Sunday, on Tuesdays. She fasts on Tuesdays. They will go out for shopping on Sunday. These are the sentences. Then before mentioning a date, like 6th March or 25th December, we use the preposition on. On Christmas Day last year, we had lots of fun. Or another sentence using on will be like his birthday is on the 6th of March. At times, we use other prepositions for time. Like in this sentence, the meeting was scheduled for 10 a.m., which means that the meeting was to be held at 10 a.m. was scheduled for. With the word scheduled, we are using this preposition. Look at the next sentence. I'll meet you sometime between 9 and 10 a.m. Without mentioning the precise time, I'm just implying that sometime between 9 and 10 a.m. I will meet the person. So I'm not being precise or specific here. I'm just mentioning that within the hour between 9 and 10 a.m. the meeting will be held with that person. When to use in time and on time? Look at these two sentences and note the differences. I arrived in time to have some coffee before the meeting started. That means you were punctual. Punctuality is indicated by the phrase in time. In the next sentence, the meeting started on time. This implies that the meeting was held precisely at the time it was supposed to start. The meeting began precisely at the time that was fixed for it. So, on time is the phrase that has been used. How to ask the time when you wish to know it from someone? So you could say, "What's the time?" Or, "Could you please tell me the time?" Or, "What time is it, please?" These are the questions that are asked to know the time from someone. And how to respond, or what kind of responses or replies should you make if someone asks you the time? Like if it's 4 o'clock, you'll say, "It's 4 o'clock," or "It's 4. You need not mention whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon, whether it's AM or PM, because all these are used in the written form and not in spoken English. So if it is 4 o'clock, you simply say that it's 4 or it's 4 o'clock. If it is 15 minutes left to be 5, then you say simply quarter to 5 or 15 to 5. Or it can be also said as 4:45, which means 45 minutes have passed after 4. But you do not say in so many words. You simply say quarter to 5 or 15 to 5 or 4:45, whichever you find it easier to convey. And if it is 15 minutes after 5, it will be said as quarter past 5 or 15 past 5. You don't have to mention the word minutes or seconds. It is all implied in the statement quarter past 5 or 15 past 5, or simply 5:15. Yes, more simple would be 5:15. And you need not mention AM or PM. By the way, I hope you know the full form of AM and PM. If you don't, then just have a look at this. AM means ante-meridiem and PM's full form is post-meridiem. And what's the full form for AD? Well, AD generally implies after Jesus Christ was born, but the full form stands for the Latin word Anno Domini, the Latin phrase Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord. And BC stands for before Christ, that is, before Christ was born. Well, now look at this picture depicting clocks showing different times. The first one shows that it is 5 past 11. That means 5 minutes past 11. So we'll say this as 5 past 11. What's the time? It's 5 past 11. The next one indicates that it's 4:25. Then 6 o'clock, 1:35, 5 to 9. That means 5 minutes are left to be 9. Then 2:15. 2:15 means 15 minutes past 2. 15 minutes have passed after 2. Here is a detailed chart showing you how to tell the time. Just look at the clock and read the sentences below. Suppose it's 2 o'clock. You say it's 2 or it's 2 o'clock. Then if it is 5 minutes after 2, you say it's 5 past 2. Or it's 2:05. You can simply say that also. It's 10 past 2. It's quarter past 2. Or it is 2:15. 2:15 can also be said. Then it's 20 past 2 or 2:20. 2:20 can also be said. It's 25 past 2. It's half past 2 or 2:30 can also be said in spoken English. It's 25 to 3. That means 25 minutes are left to be 3. Or you can also say 2:35. It's 20 to 3. That means 20 minutes are left to become 3 o'clock. Then there's 2:45, or it's 2:50, it's 5:50. Okay. Here's another chart showing you how to tell the time. Now for spoken English, do follow the column on your right hand side. So if it is 3, simply say 3:10. Or if it is 4, simply say 3:40. If it is 4:45, you can say 3:45. If it is 3 minutes to 4, say 3:57. You can say that. Okay, now we move on to some adages. What are adages? Well, these are proverbial sayings, phrases that are commonly used. These are the adages that are all connected with time. See the first one, time is on your side. In other words, the present time is favorable for you, or you are going through a good time in your life. So time is on your side. Then there's, it's a matter of time. I suppose you all are familiar with this phrase. It's a matter of time, we often say. Behind the times means you are backdated. So behind the times would means you are outdated, you are backdated. You are not keeping up with the times. The next one is time's up. I suppose all the students are familiar with this. During exam time, when the last bell rings and it's time for you to submit your answer sheets, don't the teachers yell out, "Put down your pens, time's up." It means time is over. Time's over, there's no more time left for writing. So the teachers say time's up when the last bell rings and it's time for you to submit your answer sheets. There are more adages. Look at these ones. The first one, to lose track of time, means not to be aware of the passing time. Then there's run out of time. That means you don't have much time left to complete the task that you are doing. To spend the time. It can also be said as to pass away the time. To spend the time, to pass the time, means the same thing. To save time. To save time means not spending much time in doing a particular thing. So most of us use washing machines because we wish to save our time. We don't wish to spend much time in washing clothes, don't we? We all want more spare time, leisure time. That means free time. Spare time means free time. The time that we can use in any way we feel like. If you don't have anything to do, you simply kill your time, but don't waste your time. Wasting time implies you are not putting your time to good use. Time is valuable, so you should put it to good use instead of wasting it or killing it. Then there is a phrase like going through a hard time. If I use a sentence like she is going through a hard time, it implies that she is going through a difficult phase of time. She is suffering much. The circumstances are not favorable for her. Rather, the time is not favorable for her. Okay, the phrases to be on time and just in time are quite similar. Both imply punctuality. And if someone wishes you have a great time, it means that he or she wishes you to have a joyful or a joyous time. Have a great time. Here's a list of more proverbial sayings associated with time. Look at the first one. Time heals all wounds. Now, what does that mean? It means time cures everything. Time is a great healer. The Greek poet Menander, I suppose, was the first one to use this adage, and later on this saying made its way to Chaucer's poem. With the passing away of time, we learn to adapt ourselves to the changing circumstances, or we tend to forget injuries of the past. So time is thought to be a great healer. It cures all injuries, all wounds. Look at the next saying, only time will tell. Well, that reminds me of Jeffrey Archer's novel. He entitled his book as Only Time Will Tell. Only time will tell actually means that you will get to know about the consequences in the future. So eventually you will get to know how things turn out to be. That is in the future. Time will tell. Okay? Then there is a saying, time is money. Time is money, that means time is precious. Time is as valuable as money. We all value money. So time also should be valued. Time is precious. Then look at the last one. Time and tide wait for none. And so true it is. We should not allow any opportunity to pass by without putting it to good use, without utilizing it. So any kind of opportunity that we may come across should be made good use of. Because time and tide are always on the flow and wait for none. Time passes away very quickly. It flies by. Just look at the next saying. Time flies. Time flies. That means you cannot catch hold of time. Time is always passing away. It's on the flow. Flies like a bird. In the nick of time, just on time, means the same thing. To be punctual or to do the job or the task or whatever is needed to be done before it is too late. So he was saved from drowning in the nick of time. He was rescued in the nick of time. When we use a sentence like this, we mean that before he got drowned, obviously someone saved him. So it was in the nick of time, on the dot, before it was too late. And to be on time or just on time means to be punctual. Ahead of time. We have seen a phrase, behind the times, that indicates being backdated, outdated. So ahead of time means being advanced. Just the opposite. It's good to be ahead of the times and not behind the times. So that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it and found it useful.